Good afternoon, all of you. So as we know that in last class we have already discussed what is the various colors of leaves and what is the photosynthesis carried out by the parts of the plant other than leaves, and is it the leaves of various colors are carrying out the photosynthesis reaction or not? Is it they have a green color pigment called as chlorophyll is there or not? And as well as we have studied what is the photosynthesis done by algae. So these are the things we have discussed in last class. Is it yes? Now coming to the today's class, as we know in the previous study, photosynthesis reaction. So what is the major product of photosynthesis reaction which we used to get? Basically, what is the photosynthesis reaction, Mari? Please, can you able to say the photosynthesis reaction?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. So the general photosynthesis reaction is carbon dioxide from the air and water from the ground, and under the presence of sunlight, the chlorophyll which will absorb the energy from sunlight and they will produce food plus oxygen. That is what the photosynthesis reaction. 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives you what? Glucose, C6H12O6. This is what we should call as a what? Food. That is only we should call as glucose plus we should call as oxygen, 6O2. So under this what? Under sunlight with the help of what? Chlorophyll. This is what the photosynthesis reaction which we have studied long back. Is it yes, Hari?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes,
So
sir.
today's class, what we are going to study means, so as we know that photosynthesis reaction means all the things, everybody will say that only it will produce glucose. But is it only the glucose is producing by the photosynthesis process? If it is true,
No.
what about the other substances? What about the fats? What about the proteins? What about the other food like a starch and protein, vitamins, minerals, etc.? How we are getting from the plants? That is what our today's learning objective. So let us discuss. Please, all of you keep heading. Synthesis of plant foods other than simple carbohydrates. Synthesis. What is the meaning of synthesis? Hari? Production. Understand? Synthesis of.
Yes, sir.
Understand, Ra? Kaushik, are you there?
Yes,
Synthesis
sir.
of plant foods. Synthesis of plant foods other than simple carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates means what, Hari? Mari? Glucose. Simple carbohydrates. Hydrates means it is glucose. Now, this is what we are going to discuss in our today's class. So, if you come to know that a simple carbohydrate which is known as glucose is produced in our photosynthesis reaction. That is what we have studied from the long back. Is it yes, Mari? Now,
Yes, sir.
should called as a simple carbohydrate. Now, the excess glucose has been stored inside the green leaves. This is also I have taught you. Have you remembered?
Yes, sir. Starch, sir.
Glucose has been stored as a complex substance, complex food. That complex food is only called as what? Starch. What is it?
Starch, sir.
Starch. So this is what the
Starch, sir.
first product other than the simple
Starch, sir.
carbohydrate which has been formed by the green leaves is called as starch. So let us discuss what is starch and how it is forming and all. So please, all of you keep heading. Plants make starch as food. Plant makes first kind of food it is. Plants makes starch as food. Starch as food. Is it yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, let us discuss how the starch will form and everything will be, how it will be stored and all in the plants. So as we know that, first a simple carbohydrate will form by the plants through what? Through the photosynthesis. Is it yes or no? So under the photosynthesis,
Yes, sir.
plants will form a simple carbohydrates called as glucose. Now, these glucose, excess glucose will start converting into, will be converting naturally. It is not done by anyone. Naturally into a complex carbohydrate. Simply excess glucose naturally converted. Naturally
Converted.
Actually, this is produced in which reaction, Ra? A chemical reaction called as
Chemical reaction. Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Understand, Ra?
Yes, sir.
Understand, Hari? So, a chemical reaction called as photosynthesis, it is used to form a simple carbohydrate called glucose. Now, excess glucose has been stored inside the leaves naturally. It will be naturally converting into complex carbohydrate. What we should call it? Complex
Complex carbohydrate.
Understanding? Complex
Yes,
carbohydrate.
sir.
Hydrate. That is what we should call it as what? We should known as
Starch.
starch. Understand, Hari? Respond,
Yes, sir.
Hari. So that is only
Yes, sir.
called as starch.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
this starch is a food which is stored in various parts of the plant, such as roots, stems, leaves, and seeds. Understand, all of you? So, for
Yes,
example,
sir.
Yes, sir.
so I'm saying that the starch which has been converted naturally from the glucose is naturally converted into complex carbohydrate, which is called as starch. This starch is stored in various parts of the plant, means in the sense of different parts of the plants. So for example, you can take, it will stored in roots. Some plants it will stored in roots. Some plants it will stored in stems. Some plants it will stored in leaves. Like that, different various parts of the plant, they can store this one. Do you understand, all of you? And some
Yes,
plants
sir.
even stored in as a seeds also. Seeds also they can store the starch. So now example, let us comes to here. How many of you know potato? How many of you know potato?
Yes, sir. Potato, carrot.
You can say Sulu, Tamil, potato.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Potato.
sir. Urlakalangu.
Yes, sir.
Telugu also ullagadda. In Tamil, ullangi. Okay. What?
Urlakalangu.
Yes. If we'll take urlai. Telugu ullagadda. Some states, some districts you can call something Bangala Dumpa. But Telugu, basically, we are very close to Tamil Nadu, correct? So our area, we people
Yes,
call
sir.
ullagadda only. Ullagadda. Okay? So urli.
Yes, sir.
No problem. So if we'll take here, for example, you can take this potato and carrot plants. They will store a lot of starch in their where? Potato and starch.
In the roots.
Potato and carrot. They are the what? Root-based plants or
Roots.
root. So this
Root based, sir.
potato and the carrot, they will form under the soil. Is it yes or no? Under
Yes,
the soil.
sir.
They
Yeah, beetroot also, sir.
beetroot also. So these all the things. This is for example, imagine carrot. Understand? So carrot, and if you take the potato, so everything. Nice. Looks nice or not, Mari? Is it looks
Yes,
nice?
sir.
Potato, if
Yes,
it
sir.
it will form so many actually. Like this, it used to form. So this all called as this potato, and this is called as carrot. So everything they will store a very huge amount of what? Starch in
Amount of starch, yes, sir.
roots. Now, this is what we can say example of storing the food in roots. For example, let us comes to here. The seeds. How many of you know grains? Grains of wheat, rice and all. Wheat, rice and all.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
know wheat and rice? Everybody?
Yes, sir. In the stems, in the leaf.
Understanding seeds, if you consider where the starch will store, like if you take this wheat, rice, etc., rice plant, wheat plants, and all, they will store the huge amount of starch in this grains only. What we are getting, this wheat grains and rice grains we can call. So this all the grains, they contains water. They contains what? Large amount of starch. Will you able to remember?
Yes, sir.
That is what remember. So let me try to draw the rice plant. So as we know that rice plant will be like this.
Sir, it will store in stem only, no, sir?
Stem, where? No, stem. You are getting seeds from seeds, rice plant seeds we are getting, not stem. Mari,
Yes, sir.
you don't know rice plant.
Rice plant, when you eat rice, no, sir. That plant only, no, sir.
That plant, rice. What we are eating rice. Everything is seeds only. Is it okay, va?
Yes, sir.
That is also,
Yes,
that is
sir.
why it's called as it is carbohydrate. If you are eating more rice,
Yes, sir.
you can get rice. More rice, you are getting sugar. Have you remembered? Sugar patients.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sugar patients. That is why sugar patients, they won't allow to eat the rice because Rice contains what? It is starch only. Starch in the sense of
Yes,
what?
sir.
It is what? Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. That is why sugar patients will suggest to eat not this rice and all. They will used to eat some other thing. Correct or not? Because they contains
Yes, sir.
carbohydrates, starch. That is what. So this is all about the first food which will make by the plants other than a simple carbohydrate called as glucose. Is there any doubt in this?
No doubt, sir.
Now let us go for the second one. Second type of food is plants make oils as food. Oils means in the sense of what? Fats. Do you understand? So
Yes,
please,
sir. That also from seeds only, sir.
yes. Let us be. I will say plants makes what will makes now? Plant makes oil as food. Plant make oil. Oil means what? Fat or fat.
Oil,
Oil.
fat, sir, it is.
Oil as food. Now let us discuss. As we know that plants basically will make water. They will make carbohydrate called as a simple carbohydrate called as glucose. Is it as? Now,
Yes, sir.
remember,
Sir, what is the heading,
not
sir?
all the plants.
Oil.
Not all the plants. Certain plants convert the simple carbohydrates, glucose, which we used to call it as glucose, made during this photosynthesis into oil and store them in their seeds. Where they will store?
Sir,
They-
sir, can you please tell that again, sir? And
Yes.
sir,
Yeah, what
sir,
Mari?
and tell the heading also, sir.
Yeah, plants make oil as food. Okay, Mari?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
as we know that again a chemical reaction called as photosynthesis reaction. What is this called as?
Photosynthesis reaction.
Some plants, not all the plants. You have to remember some plants alone. So some plants
Yes,
they
sir.
convert this glucose into oil. Understanding? Oils are they will converting into fats and they will store in seeds. Where they will store?
They will not convert it into starch, sir. They will directly convert us, sir.
That is what I'm saying. Some plants they will converting into starch. Some plants they will
Yes,
converting
sir.
into fats. Understand? That is the
Yes,
characteristic.
sir.
Understand, Mari? So certain plants
Yes,
only,
sir.
not all the plants. So certain plants convert this simple carbohydrate known as glucose, which is made during this photosynthesis reaction. They will converting into what?
Yes, sir.
They will converting into oil,
Fats, sir.
fats, and they will store them in their seeds. They will store them in their where they will store.
Seeds.
They will store them in their seeds. So these kind of seeds is only which
Yes,
is
sir.
called as oil seeds. What we should call? Oil seeds. Do you remember?
Oil
For
seeds.
example, we are eating basically oil seeds. This kind of seeds is only called as oil seeds, which will give what? Which will give what? Which will give what?
Sir,
Understand, Ra? Which will give oil or fats, which we are using for what? What is the use of oil, Ra? Cooking oil. Have you noticed it?
sir,
Sunflower,
cooking.
groundnut oil.
Yes, sir.
We are using for cooking purpose. So whatever the seeds we are getting oil, these all the seeds we are using we are using for cooking purpose only. For example, you can take what is the oil you are using, Hari? Hari, are you there in meeting? Kaushik? Kaushik illa, jump. Okay. Bad boy. Always like this only. So okay.
Sir,
Yeah, can you able to tell me? For example, you can take the seeds of which oil are you using, Mari? Mari, what kind of oil you are using for cooking? Ask your mother and you say.
sir, cooking oil, sunflower,
Majorly, I think now,
coconut oil.
everybody- yeah, most of our states everywhere we are preferring most probably sunflower oil. Correct or not? Because people will think
Yes,
that
sir.
it is having less amount of fats. Correct? Less fat
Yes,
can
sir.
so that it is edible oil. It is good. Actually, these oils is only called as edible oils. What we should call? Edible.
Edible oil.
Yeah, which we can use for cooking. That all the oils is called as edible oils. So the best oil which we are
Edible
using
oil.
sunflower, basically even groundnut oil. So many types of oils are there. Palm oil, sunflower oil, groundnut oil. So like this. So this all, if you take this sunflower, which will contains a lot of oil stored. Is it yes or no? So
Yes,
this
sir.
understand the sunflower seeds actually sunflower seeds will be present. So these seeds they contains a huge amount of oil. So these oil only we are extracting, correct or not? By crushing them.
Yes, sir.
By crushing them in machine, we are extracting the oil which we are using for what? which are using for cooking purpose.
For
That is
cooking,
what
sir.
we are using as sunflower oil. So this sunflower oil is a plant makes the food, means the glucose has been converting into fats and oils. That is what we are using.
Yes, sir.
This oil obtained from plant seeds, that is why this is commonly we can known as vegetable oils. Actually, these all vegetables only, correct or not? So that is why
Yes, sir.
the oil which is coming from this oil is called as vegetable oils. What we should call?
Vegetable oils.
Vegetable oils. Nowadays you can see soya oil also there. Soya bean oil. Have you noticed it, Mari? Soya bean oil.
Yes,
Very
sir.
costly. Correct or not? Market if you see,
Yes,
so
sir.
many oils are there. So everything is very, very costly oils because extraction and refining process.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, which oils and all vegetable oils, sir?
Everything you can take sunflower oil, soya bean oil, groundnut oil, next palm oil.
Yes, sir.
Called as this all is everything is called as vegetable oils because they are coming
Yes,
from
sir.
the plants, correct? They are coming from plants.
Yes, sir.
Understand? So these all the oils
Yes,
obtained
sir.
from plant seeds. That is why we can call them as vegetable oils. Okay? You want you can write it.
Yes, sir.
Coming from plant seeds. Oils are coming from plant seeds, so that we can call them as vegetable oils. Do you understand?
Vegetable oils.
Vegetable oils.
Coming
So
from,
everything is
sir,
called
coming from oil. What, sir? Coming from?
plant seeds. Oil is coming. These oils are obtained or coming from extracting from plant seeds. That is why we can call them as vegetable oils. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now just remember, like carbohydrates, this glucose, how we are considering and starch, this oil is also made up of the same three elements. Whatever the glucose is contained, same this oils also contains. What is that elements? Glucose. Oils also having a same composition. Oil is also
Yes,
having
sir.
a same formula, which is also made up of three elements only. What is that? Same three elements. What is that?
C6H12
Glucose. What is the glucose
O6.
formula, Hari? Glucose. Glucose formula.
C6H12 O6, sir.
H12O6. So it contains what? You observe carefully. Carbon, which contains what?
Carbon, hydrogen.
Hydrogen and oxygen. Do you understand? So
Yes, sir.
oils also, this is also, even though they are oils or fats, these things also made up of same like carbohydrate, means carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. These three elements is only
Okay.
present in oils and even fats also. That is a very important point which you have to
Yes,
be
sir.
written down. Please write it. Oils and fats are also made up of the same three elements. Oils and fats are also made up of same three elements called as carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Do you understand, Mari? This is the symbols of elements. Carbon, hydrogen. Oils and fats also made up of same three elements like glucose, that is, this is the formula. Glucose formula, what Hari? Glucose formula C6H12O6. So same thing are even these oils also made up of. Is it okay, Mari?
Yes, sir.
This is the symbols of carbon. Carbon symbol is C. Hydrogen symbol is H2. Oxygen symbol is O2. Is it okay, Mari?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't get confused. This is what. So now starch is over. Oil or fats is over. Next what? Plant make proteins as food. Please keep it. Plant makes, third one. Plant make protein as food. Shall we discuss now?
Yes, sir.
So let us go with now. So the first thing is, remember all of you. So if it comes to here, in addition to the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, remember proteins, if you take proteins also contains one more element that is only called as nitrogen. What we should call?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. So this nitrogen, plants cannot absorb from the atmosphere or air. They will take from the ground only. Means from the soil only it will
By
take.
rain, sir. Nitric acid.
By absorbing soil. Soil contains these nitrogenous products. Like we will keep urea complex. Have you remembered? For soil we can
How,
keep.
sir?
Understand? Roots only they will absorb. Like how the water is absorbed. Same way we are
Yes,
keeping
sir.
urea complex and all. So these substances will dissolve in water. So along with the water only, these nitrogenous products will absorb by the
They'll
plant.
use fertilizers, sir.
Fertilizers. These fertilizers containing, you can see, fertilizers contain, we can call them as nitrogenous fertilizers. Have you remembered? Nitrogenous.
Yes, sir.
Understanding? So you can check it. So nitrogenous fertilizers we can call them as. So these fertilizers contains what? Nitrogen. What we should call? Nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen is the most important element for growth of any organism. Growth of any organism. The most important element is what?
Nitrogen.
Understanding? Any organism. Any organism. The growth of any organism. The most important element is what?
Nitrogen, sir.
So, if it comes to the plants, these plants, even though our atmosphere, how much percentage is nitrogen? Mari?
Sir, 78%.
78%. But they cannot absorb. The plants are unable to absorb nitrogen from the air or atmosphere. They cannot take nitrogen directly. Only they can take what? They can take the carbon dioxide. Do you understand, Mari? Hari?
Yes, sir. Sir, but by roots only they will take the nitrogen, sir.
From the roots only they will take, Mari. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that roots also what? Directly not. It will dissolve with water. Understand? So if you keep the fertilizer,
Yes, sir.
it will mix with the water. So from the root hair, the water has been transported into the plant. Same way, the nitrogen also transported. Now, if it comes to here, plant makes proteins as a food. So as well, basically the food made by the plants contains three elements. What is that? The food contains made by plants. Food made by plants contains three elements. What is that?
Sir, carbon dioxide.
Hey, plants food contains elements. Food contains three elements. Just now I have taught you. One is carbon. Next one is
Carbon, hydrogen,
nitrogen,
and then
oxygen.
oxygen.
So basically, starch, glucose, and oils, everything they contains only these three elements. Correct or not? So now,
Yes,
if
sir.
proteins, if it comes to the proteins, so proteins contains along with these three elements, it also contains nitrogen. Understand, Ra? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and what is that? It also contains nitrogen. Understand, Mari? So that is only we should call it as proteins.
Yes, sir.
Nitrogen is mixed with the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, then that is called as proteins. What we should call? Mari?
Sir, what, sir? Tell it again, sir.
If nitrogen means if nitrogen is also combined with this carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, then that is called as
Yes, sir.
proteins. Okay? Means proteins contains what? Proteins contains four elements. What are that? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Is it okay, Mari?
Yes, sir. When the nitrogen also includes, that is called protein, sir.
Protein. Understand? Basically, plants combine some elements, some of glucose, carbohydrates. Correct or not? Actually, they will.
Yes, sir.
Plants makes what? Plants makes a glucose. Correct or not? They will make.
Yes, sir.
So this glucose contains what? This contains only three elements. What is that? Carbon.
Sir, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen.
Oxygen. Now, some percentage of this glucose, understand? Some percentage of this glucose combined with nitrogen. Combined with what?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. So we'll combine with nitrogen. What they will form? They will form proteins. Do you understand, Ra? Nitrogen is mixed with this. That is only called as protein. Understand, Mari? Glucose.
Yes, sir.
Glucose spelling wrong, but you are not saying me. GLUCOSE, correct? Glucose. So,
Yes, sir.
what we can say, if the some percentage of glucose which has been produced by the plants, if it will react with the nitrogen, if it will mix with the nitrogen during this photosynthesis, then we should call it as what? The minerals. Understand
Protein.
what? They will make a proteins as food. Understand, Mari?
Yes, sir. Some person combine.
Yeah, they will combine with a nitrate. Understand? Actually, nitrogen now, it is nitrate compound, like nitrate mixed
Yes,
with
sir.
nitrogenous compounds. It will be transported from the soil. They will take from the what?
Anomia. It will transfer into anomia, then anomia into
They
nitrate.
will make amino acids which are made into proteins. Actually, directly proteins are not made. So you can see here. Let me take. So as we know, let me consider the plant. This is what the plant, Mari. Observe all of you. Hari, are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
So now, if we'll take, so leaves, what they will make, Ra? They will make glucose. Correct or not? So now,
Yes, sir.
from the bottom, from the soil, the plants will take the nitrogenous products. What is that called as?
Nitrogenous product.
Nitrogenous products, which contains what? Nitrogen is one of the element. Do you understanding? Nitrogenous.
Yes, sir.
products. So these products contains nitrogen. So this will started transporting along with the water, and it will mix with this glucose. So once this nitrogen is mixed with the glucose plus nitrogen, they will form a product called as amino acids. What we should call? Amino acids.
Amino acid.
These amino
Sir, please, can you please say it again?
Yeah, glucose combined with the nitrogen, which is absorbing from where?
Yes, sir.
Which is absorbing from soil.
Roots, sir.
From soil, it will convert
Soil, yes, sir.
amino acids, and these amino acids only converting into proteins. What they will convert?
Protein.
Proteins. Understand, Hari?
Yes, sir.
No response from Hari.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Write it. That is
Sir,
the
what is the spelling of ammonia?
amino.
AMM?
AMINO. Amino acids. Okay? They will converting into protein.
Sir.
So these amino acids only transforms into what? Proteins. Understand, Mari?
Protein.
Protein.
Yes, sir.
Okay? This is what will happen.
Yes, sir.
So, you want, you can draw the diagram also. This is what we should call as plant. Correct or not? So the plant.
Yes,
So here we have a leaves. So where the photosynthesis reaction has been carried out. You can remember that. So that is
Yes, sir.
glucose combined with the nitrogen. They will be transported. They will be converting into what? Amino acids. They will make the
Amino acid, yes, sir.
amino acids which are made into what? Made into proteins. So this is what, how the plants makes protein as food. Any doubt in this? Ask me. So if you
No doubt,
understand,
sir.
the last one made by the plants is called as plants make vitamins as food. What is that? Plant makes
Plants make vitamins as food.
vitamins. Do you know vitamins? That is
Yes, sir.
plants make vitamins. Vitamins as food. Shall we start now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, if it comes to here, these vitamins, if you consider, they are very complex substances which are an important part of our food. Actually, these vitamins very key role, very important role in our growth of our body and everything. All the activities of our body has been most importantly depends on these vitamins only. You can see here, your eyes are not working. Your suppose in the sense of so many diseases is causing because of lack of vitamins. Have you noticed it, Mari?
Yes, sir.
That is why.
Night blindness, sir.
Yes. Actually,
V2,
these plants
V1,
make
V2.
vitamins as a food. These vitamins are very complex food. What is that?
Very complex food.
Very complex food and very important food in our daily understanding. Very important
Yes,
substance.
sir.
Very important part of our food. Write it. Which are an important part of our food. Important part of our food.
Yes, sir.
Important part of our food. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see what it contains. Actually, these vitamins also made by what? Vitamins also made by what?
Made by glucose.
Are made by plants. These vitamins are contained in vegetables, fruits, and cereals made by plants, and even animals. If you consider these animals, which we cannot make their vitamins by themselves, so these plants only they will make it more highly complex substances. That is what important part of our food called as vitamins. So every part of the plant, like vegetables, fruits, and cereals, everything made by plants, they contains what? Vitamins only. Do you understand, Ra? For example,
Yes, sir.
if you take uh, lemon you take citric acid. It's actually A vitamin will come. Is it yes or no? If you're eating the
Yes, sir.
leaves, like a kira,
Citrus food, sir. Vitamin C.
yeah, vitamin C we can get like that. Everything, every fruit, every cereals, every leaves of the plants contains these vitamins. Very important in our daily food. That is what you have to read. So vitamins also made by what? Vitamins also
Vitamins also made.
made, understanding, made by plants. Understand, Ra? So which has been stored
Yes,
in
sir.
every vegetables, understand, seeds and cereals. What is the meaning of cereals? Cereals means like a grains. Understand? Cereals.
Yes, sir.
That is cereals. Everything contains what? Cereals made by plants. Made by plants contains what? Contains
Contains vitamins.
But animals, is it animals can make the vitamins?
Sir,
But,
little bit screen down, sir. No, sir.
but animals cannot make vitamins. Always they need to depend on something. Do you understand, Mari? Cannot.
Yes, sir.
That's
Sir, little bit screen down, sir.
so. This
Yes,
is the
sir.
4 type of food. Hari, any doubt, Hari? How many types of foods are plants?
No doubt, sir.
Other than glucose, they are making 4 different types. One is starch, next one is oil or fats, next third one is what? Proteins, and last one is vitamins. This is the
Yes, sir.
different types of various types of food has been made by the plants. Do you understand, all of you? Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Anybody? Ask. So
No,
think
sir.
about it. Now, what is this? The types of food and where they are getting, all we have studied. Now we are going to study last concept of today. First one is, what is the importance of photosynthesis? Can you able to say? 2 things we have. Importance of photosynthesis. Please all of you keep reading. Last concept of today's class, that is importance of photosynthesis. What is the importance, Mari?
Sir,
Importance.
to get food, sir.
Yes.
If there is no plants, we can't live, sir.
Importance of photosynthesis. So if you consider first thing, what is the photosynthesis reaction? Please tell me. 6CO2 plus 6H2O will give you what?
Yes, sir.
H12O6.
C6H12. Oh, yes,
So
sir.
we have a 2 importance of photosynthesis reaction. What is that? Even this reaction itself they are having. What is that? Can you able to say? First one.
Sir,
What is the 2 importance of photosynthesis reaction? We have both are in equation itself. What is the first importance?
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Array products importance means products. Forget about the raw materials.
Product glucose,
Products.
sir. Glucose.
Yeah. First, what is the first importance? Without plants, is it possible to
Glucose.
make the food?
No, sir.
So photosynthesis by plants provide food to animals. So animals, understanding, plants provides
Yes, sir.
provide food for animals, everything,
Animals.
including human beings, including humans.
Yes, sir.
Understanding by what? By photosynthesis only. By
Photosynthesis.
that is the first importance of photosynthesis. Next, what is the second importance? Hari, you can see the equation, you can get it. What is the second importance? We know that what is that called as the oxygen, life. Understanding, without oxygen,
Yes,
is it possible to sustain?
No, sir.
Correct or not? So we need
Yes, sir.
breathe the air air we need. If you want to survive, you have to take the understanding oxygen like a breathing and as well as respiration process which will carry it out inside our body to release the energy. Every animal, they need oxygen. So this oxygen, where they will get? Plants only they will produce during this photosynthesis.
Yes, sir.
Understand, Ra? So the process
Yes,
of
sir.
plants puts oxygen gas into the air. Plants, second use. Plants release oxygen. OXY, the oxygen in during photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, which is oxygen gas, right? Is oxygen gas, which is useful for breathing, breathing, breathing and
Yes, sir.
respiration in all the animals, in all the organisms. Do you understand?
Yes,
Ra?
sir.
Organisms. So this is what the two importance of photosynthesis reaction. So with this, I will stop the today's class. Thank you so much.
The second point, please, sir.
Yeah, photosynthesis, which is useful for